This is back at Harvey's house. So this is Ethan Adam. He's going to tell us a couple things.
Okay, so we're on Federley Road. We're at the end of Federley Road.
Mm-hmm.
And the Federley house stood right behind us there at 11660.
Okay.
And that was a yellow house when I was a kid, and it was abandoned. It was empty when I was around. And then they burned it down a couple years later at the fire department because it was abandoned.
Well, there's the owner right there too.
Yeah.
We could talk to him if we had
Yeah.
to.
And then,
And
that I don't know what that address is, but we can get it.
But he lived here, and
Connie
that's.
lived in there was a white Rambler on that house. Or in that,
Oh, well, then from there he could see
Said you could see down to Cedar Lake Road from up here.
Cedar Lake Road,
Through the woods
and 70. There weren't all these houses, and maybe
No.
in the winter when there wasn't any.
Now the next house that was built was this house here on the right there. I believe that was built in probably 68, 69.
Uh-huh.
And my friends built that, and I knew the kids in there. It's the Smith family.
Oh, that's the Smith you guys were talking about.
Yep.
So, and when do you think his was built?
Well,
It's the new one on top of
the
that.
new one
right?
on top. That one, well, if Connie moved in 1940, then that'd be probably brand new. Like,
Oh, actually 38 to 40.
yeah, okay.
It was 2 winters he spent here.
Okay, so the house would have been right there.
And then nothing here.
Nothing here.
And then
And to the left
Federley.
there was nothing there. And it was a dirt road going down to the left, and we're gonna have to walk past their driveway down. Now the house the big white one on the hill there, of course that was never there. That's your neighbor, that new house.
Yeah, that's the new one.
But we would walk up
Mark
that hill.
and Melissa,
Yeah, wow.
forget
Anyway.
their names now.
So we'll walk down there. So
A dirt road.
dirt road with ruts. I mean, it was grass in between. It was like that. So. So really, honestly, I think, unfortunately, I think that.
I'm glad
Yeah.
we're going now because it's all going to fill in pretty quick here.
Now the barn.
April 30th, we're at the end of.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, there's Markson house built last year. On the Fred
So
Bloom
you can see
house.
the road. Oh, it was.
God,
You're gonna see.
this is
That's
so
the
much.
foundation of the barn they had.
It's a little bit over the hill. Yeah, you can see the lakes from here.
So that's. Yeah.
This is
No,
this.
these were built in the 60s, late 60s. Only these two.
These two here.
Yeah.
Okay. And then this story is that this road was going to connect all the way up to the end of Sherwood Hills Road where I live.
Yep.
And it all got shot down, I think, in the 70s,
Oh, well, no, before that, way before that,
50s.
probably in the 60s.
Yeah.
Here's where you walk up. This is where the barn is. That's those bricks there. That's the foundation for the barn.
Oh,
Right here.
this was,
This is Federley's barn where he kept his Model 3 Ford.
okay.
Yep.
This is a different one. Ours
And
is down
if
here.
you go farther down, we're going to see he had gardens. How do you talk about his garden?
Let's come back to this, but I'll show you what's, because my house is right up here.
Right.
And Betty Idy is in between. There's
Yep.
Betty Idy. She's in her 80s now.
School, ID.
Loring.
Lauren ID.
Yeah, I just saw him the other day.
Really?
Yeah, he comes down to see his mom. She lives there
You
alone.
see him, get his phone number. I'd like to connect with
Oh, I got it. I got.
him.
Yeah, because I gave it.
Did you tell him that you were talking to me?
No, I,
His number me is loud, so.
I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Now, see this, it's all good. There used to be stone. We'll have to look closer. Maybe it's all grown over. But there were stone garden walls.
Well, there's a couple of them here, and they turned them into a barn too. It's right up here. We always come from down above. Oh, and here's the cottonwood that blocks my view
Of the
from
pond.
downtown. No, of downtown from.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I've thought about hiring somebody to climb this thing.
Uh-huh.
It would be $1,000.
Boy, that's a big one. Wow.
So this is the foundation I'm talking about. It's,
Oh, you are? Okay.
and so there's two of them then. Here's where the deer walk through. Glad it's not too muddy.
Okay, well, I think there might be two structures down here.
Well, and I know the Ides and Smiths, Vagamas, they all had barns down here. Boy, is this cleared out.
Really?
That's right, she hired somebody to...
What she did?
This will be fine because we can...
Is this his property?
Oh, here it is. It just looks so different because it's so cleared. So here's a building.
Oh, yeah.
But this is different than yours.
Yeah.
Here's the garbage sink.
This is part of Beverly stuff, I think.
And
That's like a pump house or something.
yeah, or maybe the bathroom. Then see the stone wall there.
Yeah.
So that's directly
I
under my
remember
house.
that.
Here's a bottle. I wonder how old this is. This is a vintage bottle.
Yeah, it is. Really.
You mind if I go over here?
Yeah, I remember the stone. It was, maybe this is one of his buildings. I don't know.
So there's the...
Maybe
Oh, and here's a wire.
I don't know.
There's
I
a
thought he
wire
lived in the
down.
yellow house. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe the yellow house was
Here's another bottle.
7-Up bottle.
No, that's a wine bottle.
Oh yeah, it is. It's champagne. You know, I could be wrong. Connie could have lived in that house on
Look out for these wires.
This could have been Federal's house.
Yeah, because there's a chimney.
Or a pillar. Because this would have been a whole house then.
Let's go down.
A basement down there with a well.
Yeah, so we would...
You know, I could be completely wrong. There's a mailbox in there too.
Yeah, this is the one we were always talking about.
Oh, okay.
Because you can see how nice the stone wall is.
Yeah, you know, I bet that's the house. I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong. Most of that, that's Federal's house. I think Connie lived in
Well, he said the big white house with all the white windows, all the picture windows, describes that one exactly. Is the one that he lived in.
So that's it then. I'm gonna take it back here. That's a I gotta get that cleared up.
Yeah, we'll clear it up
think
with
that's-
him.
I think I'm wrong.
Because
I
look,
think this is Federal's house here.
wow, yeah, right here you get a good look at it, and you can see it was built probably in the 30s
Yeah, or 20.
or 20s, which would make sense then. The World War I veteran story. So the
Oh yeah.
the guys who, when their kids rode their horses from Minnehaha Creek through
Right.
Cedar Pass, Hedberg,
Yep.
over to here on the way to Oak Knoll, and they said there was a guy lived in the side of a hill from World War I, and he was maybe missing one hand,
That was Federally, I bet.
and maybe he was just missing a finger, because
Yeah.
Conrad didn't remember the missing hand.
Right.
Did you see him very often? Did you?
Oh, I never saw him.
Oh, you never saw
No,
him.
he was dead by the time I was around. But,
And he said he was really gentle and a little, and probably lonely, and he gave candy to the kids as they rode the horses along there. And so,
What I don't get is where would be the fireplace? I mean, that's stone. And that looks like a chimney.
yeah, so
Unless they had piping, it's piping going up the top of that stack then. Wow.
yeah, and then they always
Probably
have a
well.
cylindrical. That would be my son's car, because they came down here years ago.
You did what? Oh, the car. Oh, I see. It's funny, really. Oh my. Hold remote control.
Yeah, and this old kerosene can.
Yep.
I mean, if you dug around here, maybe you could find something. This is all overgrown now.
Yep.
Since
I
last,
believe this is his house.
I haven't been down here for 10 years. It's,
Yeah, there's steps going up out there on that side. Yeah, that was his house. This is,
oh, you can easily come out here.
I thought it was Federal's.
Oh, here's the mailbox.
I saw that.
Well, this could be evidence.
How about
Ooh, here's the wire I'm standing right on. I don't think it's live. I just let it go. Hey, here's a letter to Federal.
No.
It says from Ethan Laub, 1972. Dear Mr. Federley, thank you. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, and look at these steps here.
I know, I remember that.
You remember the steps down to...
Yeah.
So the barn would have been above this?
No, the barn was there, where that first other foundation was way over there.
Oh, it's before the house.
Barn before the house, yeah.
Ah.
So that's what Mr. Durant said, that he parked his Model T in the barn.
Yeah.
That was his garage. Yeah, that's the house. Here's the other part of your son's car. Jeez.
Well, this is really interesting. We found a...
Yeah, we got to fix this for you. No, I was inaccurate.
Do you have a camera? Take a couple pictures. So my house is right up there, 2415 Sherwood Hills.
Yep.
On the left is David Gailey, and on the right is Betty Eide. And their property line is about this huge cottonwood tree right lined up with the chimney. And so therefore, and our line stops at the top of the hill where but if this looks like Federley, according to the experts here. We'll confirm it with Conrad too. You should bring him back here.
I will bring him back here. He's trying to come back here.
Is he?
Oh yeah. He walks a couple miles a day.
Oh, he does. And this isn't too hard. This time of year.
Road, you're right though. I heard about that too. The road is usually going to go all the way up and meet your dead end over there.
Yeah. And there's two $2 million houses at the end,
Yeah,
so it ain't going anywhere anymore.
Yep.
Oh, here's some fencing.
Yep. Yep.
You say you had gardens?
He did. He had lots of gardens. Connie said the same. Yep. That's the house. So I was wrong. I think Connie lives in the yellow house that got burned down.
Well, this is so cool because I've been wondering what this house was.
That has to be high enough for him to see.
And the fact that it's old stonework from the 20s or 30s. It's still standing. Boy, is this clear. It was, somebody cleared it out because it was
They
all...
have cleared it. Well, the telephone company or power company. Yeah, so this was, the linemen just used this as a road for the
But
truck.
this is a nice hike.
It is. It's a really nice view. See, that lake over there, not this one, but the one on the other side, used to be really big, and that's where the Cedar Pass is now developed.
Well, yeah, the edge of it, and it goes over
Yeah.
there. Uh-huh.
So there's a brown house right there now, and it's owned by Mr. Jackson. I can't think of his first name. I went to high school with his daughter.
Oh.
There was a red house there when I was a kid. That was the only other house. It was that house, red house there. Smith's built in '68, and this other house next to them, and then the yellow house on the top, which I thought was Federley's, which I don't think it wasn't. And
That's his barn, yeah.
then a white house. So there were maybe, let's see, 1, 2, 3 houses when I was a kid, and then the other two.
That was about it, huh?
Yeah, that was it. The red house there on the pond, and they had a Chris Craft cruiser, and they drive the Chris Craft cruiser in the pond. It was that big enough. It was a small lake.
Fun.
It was funny. And she was a lunch lady.
Only 10 feet deep or something.
Yeah, she was a lunch lady at Tanglin. I'll try to think of her name.
Wasn't Helen Boster also?
She also was, yeah.
In the cabin.
Yep.
Now, you said as we walk back to this other barn, you said that your family almost bought for $8,000 a big chunk of land here.
Well, we're past.
Can you point to where it would be?
Down farther, up Federley Road. To your left, it's called Nottingham Court.
Oh, yeah.
So that was all for sale. My dad missed it by 10 minutes or something. He went to the real estate office, and he had, it was like $8,000 or $6,000 or something for all those probably 25 acres. More than that, plus a pond in there. Yeah.
He had $100 bills. He was all ready to go. And then the other guy, and that's what's an amazing coincidence that Conrad, within 10 minutes, bought or at least out from under the mailman, for $8,000, bought their 10 acres up on Hillside.
Oh, really?
And while you were over, you were fixing dinner. And
okay, I didn't hear that part.
God, they're both $8,000, and they're both last-minute deals. What a coincidence.
Yeah.
So you think it's...
So no, we'll come up to that brick foundation. That's where it was a red barn that had a loft in it. It was standing and shingles on it still.
Uh-huh.
And it's said to be about 1970, 72 in that area.
Oh, here's a little foundation.
Trees have fallen down on it and it's way gone.
So this would be the barn.
This is Federal's barn right there. Yeah, I remember walking up this gully here. Oh, we played up here a lot.
Did you? Memories coming back? Hey, there's something in there. It's a swing set.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So where this
the
is
barn where
the...
they go into the hill like that,
Oh,
I believe.
and so the Model T wheels would be hanging here,
Well, they're hanging on the wall.
back there.
Wood spokes in the barn. I think.
See, now Ides had a...
I should remember this because Ides built in the 60s, early 60s, I think.
Yeah, we should bring Lauren back, Lauren Ide back.
Yeah, Lauren remembers that stuff.
But he would be able to point out where his barn was, which was over there, unless they just used this foundation.
Whose barn?
The Ides had 2 horses,
Oh, they did?
and they kept them down here so they would ride the horse up and down the hill.
Oh, wow.
Their daughter still has horses.
Wow.
Lisa,
I believe this is the barn.
do you remember Lisa, his sister?
Vaguely.
And then another sister, there's 2 sisters.
I want to say this is the barn. Well, this seems like the same spot for the barn.
Yeah.
It's a narrow, but this is a narrow
Would
foundation.
it have had cinder blocks while the other was stone?
It may have, may not have.
Do those look like really old 1940 cinder blocks?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they do. They're older. Well, we should really ask Ides about where the barn was. I mean,
Yeah.
it was in this area. If this was in it, it's got. Well, you can see.
Well, it could be.
Here's a road that comes up to it, a driveway.
Oh, yeah.
See?
You'd have to have that.
Graded up. Yeah.
So he had a long strip of land on the
Oh,
side
yeah.
of the lake.
Yep.
That's what he had. And this could be up on this flat area.
Yeah, it could be. That could have been too. Barn.
Could be where the barn.
I think there could have been another. This could have been a shed. Kind of small farm.
Because there's Ides' house. I think it was right over in here on this high point.
I wish. Gosh. I wish I'd taken pictures. But your kids, you just play.
So yeah, it was a Model T that he would have driven up this
Right.
road.
I don't remember what year it was. I would say maybe in 1920, 25, some of that era. Because the man owned it, bought it from Mr. Federley, lived at the top of Federley Road to the right on 73. His name was Burant, B-U-R-A-N-D-T. And he was a TV and radio repairman.
Oh yeah, Mr.
So
Brandt.
I once a year for a few years, my dad would go over there and he'd give me a ride in the Model T.
Fun.
And he said it came right from the red barn that used to be on this site.
Now, you said also that they burned down the Federley house. Is that
Well, now that's not
square with that?
I'm recanting what I said.
So it might have been
Yellow
another
in the
house.
corner did get burned down, and the white one where I pointed out too, those are both burned down by the fire department.
Oh,
yellow house-
up here where?
Yep, the yellow house right in the end, that I thought was Federley's. And maybe he
It
moved in
sounds
later,
like Federley.
But we see this old foundation down
I mean, it sounds like
that was Federley.
the Fox.
Yeah, Conrad Fox's, yeah.
Conrad, because he said it was a white one, the highest point. There it is.
Yep.
If you were just trying to pick the highest point, that's what you would pick, the farthest. And also, he said real clearly that there were windows all along the front.
And I do remember that, there were.
Because they'd get this nice view of the lakes, and in the winter at night they could see the lights of his father's truck coming back. He was the head baker at Tasty Bakery
Yeah.
on Lake Street, and then it moved to St. Paul. Yeah, you can see the grading here, exactly what you would do if you had a Model T you had to put in the garage.
Yep. Or in the
You
barn.
wouldn't be able to put it anywhere else.
Yep.
So
So
that,
this house here on the left, this was very new too. This was, I mean, compared to everything.
yeah. And it looks like it
Looks
too.
like probably about 78, 80.
Yeah.
And then the other one to the right, a little after that.
Unless it was, on top of whatever, on top of Conrad. Well, drive Conrad back here. He'll tell you exactly.
I'll walk him back here.
He'll know exactly. House in what year was burned down by the fire?
70,
Department.
between 70 and 72. And it was yellow, and it was a clapboard house with a big front porch on it.
And he watched them practice as they burned it down on purpose
Yep, because it was abandoned.
before this house was built.
Yep.
This is back at Harvey's house. So the pond,
So we're on Nottingham Court right now,
yeah,
just east of where we were just now off Federley. And this pond. was
and
never-
your house is right on the other side here in Park
My house
Ridge.
is right behind this blue house. Blue Colonial, I'm right behind that.
Okay, in the Park Ridge.
Yep, yep. So, now, if you will look across the pond.
That's a big pond. I didn't realize it was.
It's very big. There's a house through the trees. Not the one on the right, not the one on the left. Straight through there.
Yeah.
That house owned all this land, or every one of these houses you see.
Oh, that house
And that was-
owned
and that
all
made-
this land, not the two in
It's
front.
straight through. It's hard to see, but
Right.
it's obscured. You can kind of see a yellow sign. Maybe it's for sale.
And then
And this was
they
their back-
drained it.
Yep. So they to their right, behind this house, basically, coming down from Hillside Lane. The pond was originally there,
Oh,
and so they were named
off
also
of
the
Hillside and Tanglin and High
Yep.
School.
So the pond was originally at the bottom of that hill. The people who owned that house, the Smiths, their name would happen to be too. They had lots of horses,
Oh,
and he wanted water for the horses, so he dredged the pond with a big, like a stream, and I remember it running.
you forgot
and he-
to ask?
Yeah, he didn't ask, and this was a pasture, and he filled all this in from there. So if any of it's being fed, it's still being fed from where that wetland is into here, and rainwater and everything else. But now here's the pond, and there used to be a barn, a horse barn, small horse barn, pretty much straight ahead from me. And
In the middle of the lake?
no, on the hill,
On the hill, yeah.
probably between these two houses there.
Oh, okay.
Small horse barn. And the dads here also, kind of like they did in Sherwood Forest, they put up hockey boards, and they would have their kids play hockey out there.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And this was all developed.
Oh, and you put in your canoe here, I suppose.
You can, but there actually was a little island over there, and there's a bridge over it. It's all gone now, where all those trees are. And it was nearly not as deep. It's filled in and gotten bigger.
There's a bunch of mallards there now.
Yep.
So no lake up there anymore.
No, the pond was up there, and he drained it into this area. Look at all the mallards. Wow.
Yeah.
So, and where this house is, that also was his pasture to the right, with stucco. And as a kid, there were not nearly as many trees, and we'd slide or even ski down the sloping hill down to the pond. in the winter.
That'd be fun.
Yep. So that house, the house on the right, probably was built about 1980, I'd say.
Yeah.
78, 80. These are all built probably between 1965 and 70.
And that's when you were going to buy it?
My
the
dad
guy,
was going to buy all these houses you see here.
and
on
somebody
Main
else
Street.
made $1 million off of it?
Yep, exactly. And
By
that-
10 minutes, you could have been a
I know it.
millionaire, Ethan.
Exactly. My dad could have been.
How many acres was it?
It's got to be like 30.
30 acres for $8 grand
Yeah.
in the mid 60s.
Yep. That house used to be white, and we used to make home movies. as a
Because
kid.
Tatters the Clown, you said something like $25,000 a year.
Yeah, 20, 25.
That was
That's
good
a lot
money,
of money in the 50s.
in the 50s and 60s.
Yeah. Yep.
And CCO,
No,
or
on Channel 5.
Channel 5, I mean, he was
KSTP.
with all the kids, KSTP.
And before that, he was on WTCN 11.
Cool. And your little fort is behind there.
Yeah, my tree house is behind that blue house there. And that house used to be white. We used to pretend that was the White House as a kid.
Okay.
And you can see that that's man-made. There's a trench down
So Smith, Daddy Smith, wanted water for his horses.
there.
He dredged it in the middle of the night, drained that sucker, and that's how you got that.
Yeah.
That's where it came from.
You could do that in the 50s.
Yeah. So
And there was
my dad
a-
remembers hearing that, and there was a big piece.
Big lawsuit?
No, I never. It was done, and no one picked up on it until it was too late. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
got,
But yeah, that was.
Yeah, this was the last of the houses that was put in here because
was it?
people didn't think this was a buildable lot.
well,
Okay.
in that photograph, we only have the one aerial
Yeah.
photograph. His house is being built. They're just building
wow,
his
okay.
basement. So we
Okay.
figured about 74.
So
or
yeah, so these nothing was here. There was a horse barn over there, like where that between those two houses, that one and the next one. There's a little horse barn, and the horses would come up to my backyard because the lot ended right up there.
Yeah.
And I'd see them all the time. When we come over, and we kind of knew their kids and whatever, and we go pet the horses, walk on the property.
And
Yeah.
this little spring-fed pond that's over the
Yeah,
crest
what is
there.
this? Yeah, was that always there?
Yeah, that was all. I
That's
believe
right.
So, because that one's definitely spring-fed.
I
And
do
there's-
remember that.
There's a level. There's a pipe at a certain level, and it drains it and dumps it into this.
I believe it. He was pretty clever.
Yeah, this is just a collection. As you say.
That was Nobby and Susie. Knobloch, Susie Woodrich, my old high school friends. And this must be the Burant house.
Two-story up there. It was never that big. They added onto it, but see the
Oh, okay.
pitch of the roof. That was Brant. He's the man that bought Fairlee's Model T.
Okay, now that would be just about where there was a horse farm when we moved in 94,
Was there?
92. Yeah, there was a few ponies back in there.
Okay, I don't remember that.
But it
Oh, I
was
did
right
see
on the
yeah,
other
yeah.
side of that
Down the other
fence.
side, down behind him, yeah.
Yeah.
And Spielman,
The gas
Joe
guy?
Spielman's lives right down here on one of the houses to the left, up high.
Oh, I didn't know
Yep,
that.
yep.
Okay. Huh.
On the bottom, hillside.
Hillside.